Greetings, Skywatchers, and welcome to the sky above us. I'm James Alberry, and I'm your tour guide to the night sky. We're nearing the end of spring, and if you remember in our first episode, we had an awesome conjunction of the moon and the planets just before sunrise throughout March. Well, we have some moon-planet action again, and this is a good month to go planet hunting. One planet, though, is missing. Which one is it, and where could it be? Let me show you. Okay, we have our sky set up for slightly after sunset on June 5th facing west. The first planet we're going to look for is Mercury. To find it, look for a pinkish, non-twinkling light near the horizon. It'll be in the constellation Gemini and very close to the star Mebsuta. Mercury is usually difficult to find because it's always near the sun. But on June 5th, it will be within a day of achieving what astronomers call greatest eastern elongation. This means that with respect to the sun, Mercury appears the furthest eastward in the sky that's possible. When we view the solar system from above, we can see the orbits of the planets around the sun. If we draw lines between Earth and Mercury, and between Earth and the sun, we can see that on June 5th, a 21-degree angle is formed between Mercury and the Sun. If you're standing on the surface of the Earth on June 5th, measure the angular distance in the sky between Mercury and the Sun. You'll notice that it's also 21 degrees. Since Mercury is on the eastern side of the Sun with respect to our earthly coordinates, we say that Mercury is at eastern elongation. The opposite is true if Mercury were visible in the morning sky. We call that western elongation. Mercury will be at its greatest western elongation on July 22nd. Mercury was named after the messenger of the Roman gods because of how swiftly it orbits the sun. Mercury's year is only 88 days long and orbits at an average distance of only 0.39 astronomical units from the sun. 1 astronomical unit is the average distance between Earth and the Sun. While you're outside looking for Mercury, if you direct your gaze to the east, you'll see the full moon rising near the stars of Scorpius the Scorpion. Being the third full moon of spring, it's sometimes called the flower moon. This full moon will also be near its furthest point from Earth. We call that apogee. When the moon is at its closest to us, we call it perigee. A full moon at perigee is called a perigean moon, or more affectionately, a supermoon. And a full moon at apogee is called an apogean moon, or less affectionately, a wimpy moon. The moon is going to help us find our next 3 planets, but you'll have to go outside much later to see them. Okay, let's go ahead and advance our sky to 12:30 a.m. on June 6th, and we're facing southeast. The full moon is high in the sky in the constellation Ophiuchus the Serpent Bearer. Near the horizon, you'll see 2 very bright, non-twinkling lights. The yellowish light closer to the horizon is the ringed planet Saturn, and the brighter non-twinkling light slightly above it is the giant planet Jupiter. Both planets are between the constellations of Sagittarius the Centaur Archer and Capricornus the Sea Goat. Saturn is truly dazzling, and even with a small telescope, you can see the rings. Saturn's rings are believed to be the leftovers of a large moon or group of moons that came too close to Saturn and broke apart. These billions of pieces of ice and rock orbit Saturn in such a way that they look solid from a distance. Jupiter, which is just to the west of Saturn, is the largest planet in our solar system. It's approximately 5.2 astronomical units from the Sun and takes almost 12 years to make one complete orbit. Both Jupiter and Saturn are going to have an amazing conjunction in December this year, so continue to watch them as they move around the sky this summer. To find our next planet, let's advance our clock to 3 a.m. on the morning of June 6th. The red planet Mars will appear in the east-southeast among the stars of Aquarius the Water-bearer. Mars is often called the red planet because of its distinctive red color. The reason Mars appears red is because the rocks on the surface have a lot of iron in them, and over the years, all this iron has rusted. Many cultures named this planet after their gods of war, violence, or death because the red color reminded them of blood. Let's watch how the moon moves past the planets. We'll start off at 3 a.m. on June 6th. On June 7th, the moon will be directly over the star Caus Borealis. This star marks the top of the lid of the teapot in Sagittarius. Moving forward to June 8th, the moon is now a waning gibbous and it's approaching Jupiter. Let's adjust our clock a little later to 5:30 a.m. on June 8th. Now the moon and planets are visible in the south-southwest. Here's where the moon will be at 5:30 a.m. on June 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. If you remember back in March, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were much closer together. Now that we're in June, it takes the moon 5 full days to catch up to Mars in the sky. No wonder the ancients called the planets wandering stars. Well, my friends, out under the stars with you, and check out... Wait a minute, we forgot a planet. Oh yeah, Venus. Venus spent the last 9 months in the evening sky, and on June 3rd, Venus finally passed between us and the Sun. Soon, we'll see Venus in the morning sky, and we'll refer to it as the morning star. It's still too close to the Sun to see it, but give it another week or so, and it'll be joining the planet party with Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So get outside and go planet hunting this week. And if you'd like to support our program, click on the Patreon link in the description, and you could qualify for autographed The Sky Above Us memorabilia, and you could see your name in the credits of our next episode. Hunting for planets is fun to do when you remember to keep looking up.